This week on that BS, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I'll continue to say it as much as it needs to be said, but to all these marginalized communities that are trying to fight and stand up for what's right, I'm going to need you to do something that I know is uncomfortable, but it's for the betterment of your community. Address the bad apples in your group. I am not going to spend my time looking at 1, 2, 3, or 4 people in a group doing a bad thing and say the rest of you are also doing that bad thing. I'm going to look at those 1, 2, 3, 4 individuals and say they are the ones doing the bad, and hopefully that doesn't reflect on the rest of you, because it's smarter to do that. It's smarter to look at the bad apples and pick them out and throw them away, because if you're in a group of people that is trying so hard to fight for rights, respect, dignity, all these different things, it does you a disservice to have somebody attached to your brand, to your name, to your organization, to your group, to anything you hold dear who is doing a bad thing. I've talked about all these different people who claim to be allies, organization leaders, activists who have actively done harm to their group and community. And I do my best to make sure I'm only talking about them and those who support the bad actions, not the entirety of the community and the marginalized group. And it bothers me how more and more people in these groups don't address it themselves. I want them to, so that I don't have to, because the more I do it, the more somebody's going to get their panties in a bunch and saying, oh, he's hating on all us marginalized people. No. I'm hating on the stupid people that loom in your marginalized groups. And so it's interesting when this Don't Say Gay bill, which is not what it's called, and if you actually read it, you'll understand that it has nothing to do with not saying gay, came out. You had a bunch of people upset. You had a bunch of people protesting.
Say it. Don't say it.
Gay. I said it.
Gay!
Gay.
Gay.
Gay?
Gay.
Gay. Gay.
Gay. I'm gonna say it. Gay.
What do we know about Marlon Brando?
That he's gay.
Gay.
Gay. Gay.
Gay.
Gay.
Gay.
Gay. Gay.
Gay.
Gay.
Gay. Homosexual. Homosexual.
Gay.
Gay. Gay.
Gay. Gay. Gay.
Gay.
But in walks in Disney and the CEO or the COO claiming that they're not going to stand for this and we hate this and we don't approve of this. And the mayor or the governor of Florida was like, okay, fuck you. We don't care. And so it sparked a protest that's going to happen. And all the Disney employees, or not all, but some Disney employees are going to strike and protest this bill because they feel they're being discriminated against. Disney workers plan walkouts to protest anti-grooming bill. By the way, it's also not called the anti-grooming bill. I get that some people like to say that in response to the Don't Say Gay bill, but come on, can't y'all just call it what it actually is? Workers at Disney are planning to stage walkouts protesting what they call the apathy of Disney CEO Bob Chapek regarding the state's new parental rights and anti-grooming legislation. Groups of workers at the massive theme parks has put up their own website, which opens with this statement: the Walt Disney Company's TWDC LGBTQIA+ community and their allies are determined to take a stand against TWDC's apathy in the face of the bigoted Don't Say Gay or Trans bill put forth by Florida state legislator. The group's demands are firstly for the Walt Disney Corporation to stop donating to politicians involved in the creation or the passage of the bill, all of them Republicans. Furthermore, they want Chapek to detail a plan in public which protects employees from hateful legislation and to not construct in or invest any money in the state of Florida until hateful legislation is repealed. And you know, I would stand firm with this Disney walkout and all these Disney employees. I would like to join in on the fun of walking out of work. I would like to support your movement, but the problem is the bill really doesn't discriminate against homosexuals or transgenders. All it's saying is, hey, you're not gonna teach this to these pre-Kers and third graders, and when those little developed sperms start to get pimples and hair and things start to grow and somebody starts to sweat and all these different things and their hormones start to kick in and they start to have questions, you can teach it, but it needs to be age appropriate. And you need to have the parents' approval. I don't really see what the problem is with that. And number two, you have people in Disney needing to be addressed because they were involved in a sting operation.
An undercover investigation in Florida has led to the arrests of more than 100 people. On Wednesday, Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd announced the arrest of 108 men and women who have all been charged with crimes related to human trafficking, prostitution, and child predation after falling into a detective's trap. The sting operation, which began on March 8th and lasted 6 days, was named Operation March Sadness 2. Judd explained that the name was inspired by the NCAA March Madness college basketball tournament. Among those arrested and charged were Disney employees, a worker at a family amusement park, a woman accused of trafficking another young woman, and a retired Illinois judge. People confirms that Walt Disney World has placed 3 employees arrested on unpaid leave. The woman accused of trafficking another woman is a KFC manager with 61 prior criminal charges. Meanwhile, the retired judge has been named by Judd as 66-year-old Daniel Peters. He was allegedly caught seeking an escort. According to Judd, Peters told authorities after his arrest that he had served as the director of professional regulations for Illinois' Cook County Sheriff's Office earlier in his career.
As many of you want to say, oh, well, that's not important. Oh, well, that's not a part of us. Oh, that's not a thing we're going to address. The more you don't address it, the more people think you're okay with it. The more you don't say, hey, this is not our fight. We don't want that ruining what we're fighting for. The more you're going to have people think, yeah, this is exactly what they like over here at Disney. Because it's sad that there are people that think there are workers at Disney that want to groom kids. It's sad that everybody has to live in this box where they have to be categorized as something that they're not. And I would think one solution as to not have that happen as much as to say, hey, those people right there that actively were a part of this, that actively took place in this, we don't condone them. We don't support them. We don't want them near us. We don't want this to be what we're fighting for. We can disavow that and still fight for what we deem is right, even though if you read the bill, it's absolutely pointless. It is embarrassing that these communities don't address the bad apples. So my plea to any of these communities, I don't care which one, pick one, all the ones that claim to be marginalized. If you don't address the bad apples in your community, you're going to have a harder time getting more people on your side. Of course, in this situation, you're going to have a hard time in general because anyone who actually read the bill is not going to agree with you. But I would think you'd have a little bit more support from people if you just address the bad apples. Because human trafficking, I don't care how any of you want to attempt to slice that, is 100% wrong. But that's just me. You can call me whatever homia or phobia you want. At the end of the day, I don't work with anybody who dealt with human trafficking. So subscribe to the channel, live with all that guilt if you don't want to address it, and I'll see you in the next one. I know it's only the second one I've done like for this entire year of 2022, but this has been This Week on That Bullshit.